If we look at your setup, you can see on this left-hand one, the ball now back in the stance. See the difference in your grip? I mean, that is on the stronger end of the spectrum. That is like the strongest man in the world. Strongest, like that's getting the ball so far left. You'd have to do so much manipulation to keep that club from hitting it left, and the amount of manipulation you give either creates a shank or it might hit it low and straightish, but not going to be good. And the other thing you then might do, which you wouldn't do on a mat because the mat's straight. You like seeing right angles. We like seeing things kind of squared up and lined up the target. But on a golf course, you haven't got that luxury of you. So if on a golf course the first few shots go to the left, you'll just start aiming everything over here now with your feet, your body and your club, and then just hit a slingy one to target. Well, it might work. But then there's some holes, are you going to want to aim that far right? If you're playing your second or third shot down the fifth at your place with the fields on the right-hand side, are you going to want to aim towards the field for the shot to the green? It's going to come back, because if it doesn't come back, you look a bit of an idiot, don't you? Yeah. So always having that kind of neutral setup for me is going to be kind of, for you as a checkpoint, we want the stance. You said the stance looks quite wide. It's not that wide. I would actually say that could go almost a little bit wider. I wouldn't say now because it feels too wide when you're there anyway. Yeah. But I mean, ideally, you probably want your foot to be maybe a bit more towards there, and by moving that foot that way, your hip will go this way, the shoulder goes out, your head's going to follow. It will get you in a position where your head is more behind the ball at setup. So you've got a slightly forward shaft lean, slightly behind the ball with your head, okay? What you had was the hands way forward, as we can see. The head now kind of in front of the golf ball. You're taking loft off the golf club. As the club face went back now, it was getting top of the backswing. You got here now and you just couldn't get the club face going on, and we can't see the club face. But as you come through, for me, when you follow through there, the fact that club face, and blurred there is in that position is a very, very closed club face relative to what we want to see, okay? So that position there just been hit with the ball going straight left. And you've just tried to kind of manipulate it. And again, like I said, the better you get at golf, the better you get at manipulating it, which is a problem because then you play 2/3 of the round pretty good, yeah, and 1/3 of the round like, oh my god, and it just ruins a scorecard. You'll play, I say, you're probably playing. You said you're playing to your handicap with a few blobs in there. So by virtue of that, the non-blob holes mean you're playing under your handicap, and the blob holes are kind of bringing you back to where your handicap is. So if we can eliminate them, we'll reduce them to some extent. So if your bad hole now is like a 6, maybe a 7 on a par 5, not 7s, 8s, 9s and 10s or whatever, okay? So we want that ball to be just left of centre. I would say on a driving range, put that crosser down for the first 10 or 15 shots, just so you see what it looks like. I say, if you're looking down there, edge of your hand there should be inside your edge of your foot there. So the hands might be slightly forward there potentially, okay? But not too bad. I mean, I'm not saying that's too far forward there, but just to give you a reference point on the golf course of where your hands should be, where the ball would be, so you know what kind of normal setup looks like, yeah? That, to me, though, is the biggest change with that right hand. Ideally, we don't want to be seeing much of that left thumb, if any at all. Whereas the setup on this one here now, I mean, you could literally all your left thumb, can't you? I mean, it's like your right thumb's off underneath to the side. That's going to create a lot of hook spin and so on, okay? So, and then from that swing there now, if we look at the things we discussed from the past with the sort of the movement of the lower half as you get there, top of the back swing, nice. Do the hips on, draw the line. There's your side there. Do your hips move towards the wall? Yeah, great. Shoulder gets on the wall, lovely. Yeah, so you're moving towards target. Hands are now slightly ahead of the golf ball, probably more than that because the blur's a bit further over, okay? Your head is staying nicely behind the golf ball. Good position. Your left side's fairly flat against the wall. Your right knee's kind of coming into target, okay? And then when you twist through, see the different shape of that golf club now? Yeah. Where the club before was kind of like bent over this way, wasn't it? That's brilliant. Really, really good swing. And a nice smile on your face after the shot's gone nice. Like, yeah, look at that shot, it's gone straight, yeah? So what I would expect to see in the next few weeks maybe is your, I hate to use the word bad, because it won't be a bad shot, just a bit of a pushy, fadey one slightly, because you're just instinctively still relying on that club to be very square with that grip, so very close with that grip, and you just want to push it to the right, which is going to create a straighter club, but the potential to hit that unmentionable we don't want to sort of talk about, okay? Now the grip is more neutral. You're able to release the hands and arms there. Nice, release that club there. Lovely. That's a really, really good movement, to be fair, mate. Nice swing. Again, it was nice and it looked very smooth and rhythmical. If you actually watch the full swing there, if I clear all these lines, you'll have a look at it. Just see the rhythm of that swing. Balanced, controlled. Ball comes back dead straight. There's always a good say. It's the screen that comes back to you. You know it's a good shot, yeah? So check that setup all the time. Like I say, film your swings, but film it, and when you look at it, look at the start and go, okay, I see all these things going wrong in the swing. My hips are doing this, my back's doing this, the club's not square here. Well, let's go back to the start of the blueprint. What's going wrong at the setup position? Because more often than not, something you're doing at setup, and again, some of the things you'll fall into are a slightly stronger grip, the ball a bit too far back in the stance, maybe a little bit narrow with the feet. If your feet get too narrow, are you going to want to move your hips? Probably not. You fall over. So that's going to limit that movement. Because all these little things we do at setup are going to affect the swing and the later on movements down the line. Okay, mate?
Yeah, perfect.
Make sense?
Yeah, thanks, Gav.
Excellent, mate. Good.